I can't because. How many of you have started off a thought like this or heard someone else say these exact words, and then you fill in the blanks afterwards? What do I mean by that? So here's an example. I can't create a LinkedIn profile that's public because others may see it and maybe I'm not qualified for any of the opportunities that I'm presenting to them as a possibility. I can't speak in front of or contact CEOs to discuss their projects for fundraising because I was in healthcare for 15 years. You get the picture, right? The picture is we come up with all these reasons that are all hypothetical. They're all about, well, what if this happens and then I have to deal with this scenario and I'm not equipped to do it because of A, B, and C. This is very common. It's something that I've done anytime you're transitioning. Forget transitioning. Anytime you're thinking of anything outside of your comfort zone, 100% that's going to happen. But even more so is when you're thinking of transitioning from one career to the next. And so as I've moved from being a chiropractor and an acupuncturist for 15 plus years, now on over into the crypto Web3 blockchain space, you can imagine how many imposter syndrome like thoughts I myself had. And look, there's always a little piece that's going to stick around. But the more reps I have in this field, the more reps I've done things over the last, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Actually, we're approaching almost 3 years now. Things change. And the confidence builds and the knowledge builds. So just think of anything that you've done in your life where you are an expert at, or you're fairly good at, or it's routine where you can do it with your eyes closed. It all started off as something that I can't because. And the problem here is that we sit around and think of all the things around the scenario. Instead of just taking action and tweaking as we go, we like to sit and ponder all the possible negative outcomes. And it's normal, but it's something that you got to break through. We all have to break through it. And even because you break through it once doesn't mean it's not going to happen the next time. And again, I'm speaking straight from experience here. So if you want to get into the Web3 industry, right? Maybe you even just want to invest. You're a traditional investor, or you have no idea about investing. But hey, this crypto thing sounds interesting. What do? The best thing you can do is take action. Obviously, learn a little bit or as much as you feel comfortable. But here's the thing with that. You're never going to feel comfortable that you know enough. You're never going to feel comfortable that on paper you have what it takes to create an outcome that is so foreign to how you exist today. How can you? You don't have that experience to make up a proper framework and a proper mental picture of what that looks like. So it's just not feasible. So what you have to do, and this is what I've done. I learn a little, but I emphasize on taking action. And then I come back and reassess. And do I need to tweak things and continue on to the next phase? It's a learning process. And I'm going to go back to a colleague of mine who I spoke about that LinkedIn profile. And this individual had all these things about, what if I get in these opportunities and, I have to turn them down because I can't complete them. I'm like, well, do you have the opportunities now? Okay, no, you don't. So what are we talking about here? We're just creating false narratives. I go back to me again. I'm getting on these calls with these CEOs and you're kind of freaking out a little bit, right? You're like, hey, look, this is when I started. It's like they're a founder of a startup. I'm newly into this space as an investor anyway, at this level. Why are they talking to me? And you got to get through that. And then as you go through the space, you're like, look, there aren't many things in this world that don't translate to the next industry. So what I mean by that is that everyone who's done all of this learning and experience they've gained in their current fields, think all of a sudden the common sense and the things that they've learned go out the window just because you're in crypto or this Web3 space. That's not the case. You're still going to ask common sense questions. So from an investment standpoint, you're still trying to find out how good is the team, where's the project along in their pathway, do they have a good enough idea, do they have a solution to a relevant problem or an existing problem, or they're creating a solution that they're looking for a problem. And on it goes, but it's the same. There's little nuances and everything as you gain experience, but overall, having a conversation with someone, putting yourself out there and saying, hey, this is what I have to offer. You have to do that, because nobody or very few are going to do business with you if they don't know who you are. Grant Cardone says that the best. I only do business with people I know, or if they don't know you, they're not going to do business with you. So it's true. If you don't have attention, you're not going to have opportunities. Doesn't matter how good you are in your job. Doesn't matter how good your experiences are. If people don't know about it, I mean, so what? Right? So I wanted to share this because this is a very important point, and this is something that is going to happen now, especially with all this new technology in Web3, everything that's been going on, all this uncertainty, people losing their jobs, economy not doing the greatest, and maybe you find yourself in a position where you have to find a different industry, a different job, a different level on your job. And all of that comes with uncertainty, fear, right? And what do they call fear? I think Dan Pena said this is false expectations appearing real. And so what that means is we're just creating these narratives that don't exist, will never happen, and we're making them as if they are actually real. We feel it, like deep in our gut. It's a visceral feeling that it's real, and with that comes all the emotions, and we don't do anything. We got to get over that. You got to take action. You got to move forward. And while it's so easy to think about the negatives, it's very difficult to think about the upside. You don't know what the possibilities are. You don't know what the potential is for what you're doing and what you're doing outside your comfort zone. So we got to remove this I can't because, okay? The I can't. Your brain will find a reason, 100 reasons, to justify what you're saying to yourself. And if all you do is ever say is I can't, you will always find a because. So that's my message today. It was a conversation I had today. And it's one that I've dealt with personally over some time. So get out there, take action, do the best you can, but don't let it impede you starting. And then once you start, then you tweak and figure out as you go. There's never a perfect time. There's never the right time. There's only the next moment where you have to take action.